Okay, good day everyone. So let me discuss to you the lesson 2 for week 3. So entitled Algebraic Expression and Polynomials. So this is our learning competencies for this topic. So let us have a recall first. What is constant and variable? So if you can still recall, constant is any number or any symbol that has fixed value such as pi. The variable is any letter or any symbol used to represent the unknown number. Now let us have definition of terms. We have numerical expression and algebraic expression. Numerical expression is a mathematical phrase that uses numerals and operation symbols. So all numeral lang siya. Okay? Now for algebraic expression, it is a mathematical phrase that uses variables and numerals and operation symbols. Okay, so numerical expression or numerals, algebraic expression, it has variables. Okay, so yun ang pagkakaiba ng numerical sa algebraic expressions. Now, so let us discuss the uh, algebraic term. Okay, so a term or algebraic term may be a constant or any number such as 2, 4, and 7 variable. So term daw yan. Product or quotient of constant and variable. It is a term. For example, 2x, 4m squared, 7b, xy, m over 8. So that is an algebraic term. Separate an algebraic term or terms separated by plus or minus sign. So these are their separator. Therefore, we have 1, 2, 3 terms. Okay. Now, let us have the parts of a term. So, an algebraic term has numerical coefficient and literal coefficient. So, this numerical coefficient is the constant factor of a term. So, this is the numerical coefficient. Now, for the literal coefficient, this is the variable factor of a term. X squared. Kasama yung ating exponent. Okay, for example, 8 times a number. So, the constant factor is the numerical coefficient, which is 8, and the literal factor, x, is what we call the literal coefficient. Okay, so let us have these exercises. Determine the numerical coefficient and the literal coefficient. Number 1, 4xy squared. The numerical coefficient is 4. The literal coefficient is xy squared. Okay? So ito naman, numerical is 4. Literal is quantity x plus y or x plus y. So negative 3a squared b. Negative 3 is the numerical. The literal coefficient is a squared b. So ganun lang. There is no numerical coefficient. It is understood 1. Okay? So because when you multiply 1 to any number, the product is the given number. Okay? So we have here m plus n all over 5. So the numerical coefficient is 1 over 5. Okay? And the literal is m plus n. So when we multiply 1/5 and m plus n, we will get m plus n all over 5. So, yeah. So therefore, we can also write this term as 1/5 of m plus n. Okay? Now, ito naman, 3 pips. Then the literal coefficient is n. So ito, ang numerical niya is 1 and literal is, ayan. Okay? So, ito naman. Ito ay 1/10. Meron kasi imaginary 1 dyan. Okay? Then, ito naman ay negative 1/8 ang numerical. Ang literal is, ayan. So, numerical is negative 4. Literal is quantity. A plus B minus A. Okay. So, tandaan nyo lang, numerical times literal, the, the result is the term. And again, the literal coefficients kasama yung exponent ng ating mga variable. Okay, so let us have yan, answer key. Now, let us have the what we call constant term. Hindi lang siya basta constant, hindi lang siya basta variable, but it has term. Constant term, variable term. Okay, so the constant term is the term without a variable. Okay, so for example here, 5. So we have here separator plus and minus. So we have 1, 2, 3 terms. So the constant term here is negative 5. Sasama natin yung minus sign, becomes negative 5. Okay, so variable term. Okay, variable term, pwede siyang variable or product or quotient of constant and variable, just like this. The product of constant and variable, that is a variable term. So, as well as this. So, we have 2 variable terms and 1 constant term, a total of 3 terms. Again, remember, terms are separated by plus or minus sign. So, the number of terms, let's now determine the number of terms. Ayan, na-determine na pala natin, eh? Separated by plus or minus sign, so it has 3 terms. Okay, so ano ba pagkakaiba dito sa constant and variable? So for example, in 4x squared, diba? This is a variable term, diba? So, sa variable term ay may coefficient, numerical coefficient, literal coefficient. So, itong numerical coefficient na to, ito rin yung tinatawag nating constant. Okay, so that is constant. For example, huwag na tayong lumayat. For example, 2 pi r. Okay, so this is a variable term because of r. No. So 2 pi r constants. Okay, constant si 2 pi. And then si r is a variable. Okay. So pag sinabi naman natin constant term, yeah, it is a term without a variable. Pure number lang siya. So that is constant term. Okay? Okay. So identify the number of terms in each expression. So, for example, we have one term here. And only 1, 2 consists of one variable term, which is 5x, and one constant term. Ito naman ay variable term lang yan. Variable term. Next, so we have here three terms. Two of which are variable terms. We have 1/3 m square plus 6m and then a constant term. Ito naman ay one term lang yan. One term lang yan. Okay, which is a variable term. Okay. So it's a product of constant and variable. Now, this one is one term. Okay, naka-all over kasi siya. So it is considered as a quotient. No? Okay. Product or quotient, constant and variable or combination, one term lang siya. Okay? So this is just one term, variable term. Okay? So that is one term. And then ito naman ay pag naka-parenthesis kasi na yan or naka-quoted, considered as one. So, one, two terms. So we have the constant term and a variable term. Okay, so we have here one, two, three, four terms. One constant term and the other 5x squared plus 2x minus 7y are variable terms. Okay. Ayan. So, it's your turn. Okay, so check your answer. Okay. Yan. So, you've learned what is numerical coefficient and literal coefficient. What if it is just a coefficient? So, a coefficient refers to the numerical coefficient of a variable term. So, pag sinabi pa lang coefficient lang, understood, numerical coefficient yun. For example, the coefficient of 3x is 3. Okay, the coefficient of x in 3x is 3. Okay, the coefficient of x squared in negative 5x squared is negative 5. So, coefficient of x is 1. So, again, pag walang numerical coefficient, understood 1. Okay? Pagka ganyan naman, negative 1. Okay. So, ayan. So, for example here, let me explain this table. We have here the expression, number of terms, coefficient of the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. Okay, so number of terms, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the coefficient of the first term, diba? Meron tayong two terms. So, we have first, second term. Okay, for the first term, coefficient niyan is 8. Second term, coefficient, so it is, okay, since it is not a variable term, which is a constant term, so this is a constant term or not a variable term. So, not applicable. Wala siyang coefficient. Okay? So, ito naman ay not applicable din. So, kasi wala naman siyang mag-stop ka lang sa second term kasi two terms lang yan. Okay. Ito naman, three terms, coefficient ni first term, 2. The second term, ito yun, negative 5. Buhatin yung sign. Ito. Three terms, constant term yan, so not applicable. Hanggang 3 terms lang yan, so not applicable. So for the last number, coefficient of the first term, so that is 4. Negative y squared, second term, negative 1. y, the third term is 1, and dahil wala na itong variable, there is no, uh, cannot determine the coefficient of the fourth term since it is not a variable term. I hope that is clear. Let's move on. It's your turn. Check your answers. Okay, so let us have the polynomial. A polynomial is an algebraic expression where the exponent of each variable in each term is a whole number. So not all algebraic expressions are polynomial. Now, when we can say that a polynomial is an algebraic expression is a polynomial. So by the definition, it is an algebraic expression where the exponent of each variable in each term is a whole number. So bawal ang negative at fractional exponents. Okay? So remember the set of whole numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So yun lang ang pwede maging exponent ng variable para masabing siya ay polynomial. Okay. Second, an algebraic expression is polynomial when there is no variable in the denominator. Bawa, here, number 3. So this is not a polynomial since there is variable in the denominator. So kailangan pwede yung ito polynomial ito kasi constant naman siya. Okay? Okay lang magkaroon ng constant sa denominator, wag lang ang variable. Okay? So these are examples of polynomials. These are examples of non-polynomials. So the variable is not under the radical sign para masabi siyang polynomial. The variable is not under the radical sign. Katulad dito. So this is not polynomial kasi may si variable n ay nasa loob ng radical sign. So okay lang sa constant kay radical sign pero wag si variable. Okay? So again, puro whole numbers yung kanyang exponents. Pag walang exponent, understood 1. Okay. Yung variable, dapat nasa numerator lang. Okay. So, yung negative exponent kay variable, bawal. Not polynomial siya. Pero kung ang base niya ay constant, yung negative exponent ay okay lang yan. Basta hindi variable yung base. Okay, so that's it. Now determine whether this is polynomial or not. Check your answers. Yeah, so we have here the kinds of polynomials. So we have kinds of polynomials according to the number of terms. We have monomial, binomial, trinomial, polynomial. From the word mono, bi, tri, multi. So may hint na tayo kung ilan yung terms natin. So a polynomial with only one term is called monomial. 2 terms, binomial. 3 terms, trinomial. 4 or more terms, multinomial. Okay? So, tinatawag din siyang polynomial. Now, to avoid confusion, let us use multinomial. Okay, for more terms. For example here, 1 term, that is called monomial. 2 terms, that is called binomial. 3, trinomial. 2, binomial. 5, of 4 terms, multinomial. So, yan. Remember, terms are separated by plus or minus sign. Okay? Next. Another Classification are kinds of polynomials aside from the number of terms. As monomial, binomial, trinomial, multinomial, we also have constant, polynomial, linear, quadratic, cubic, quartic, and quintic. No? So ito, kailangan alamin natin yung degree niya. If the degree is 0, then it is a constant polynomial. The degree is 1, linear, 2, quadratic, 3, cubic, 4, quartic, 5, quintic. So, pagka more than 5 or 6 degree or more, lalagyan lang natin ng na TH, 6 degree polynomial, 7 degree polynomial, 8 degree polynomial, and so on. So, ngayon, paano ba natin malalaman yung degree? Okay. So, to determine the degree of a polynomial, just examine the exponent of the variable. For example, degree of polynomial with only one term, monomial, ano? Ayan. Okay. So, may tatlong klase yan. One term, a polynomial with one variable, with two or more variables, with no variable. Pagka one variable, to determine the degree, tingnan lang natin yung exponent. Okay, so remember po ko lang exponent, ibig sabihin 1. So, ibig sabihin ito, first degree yan. It's called linear. So, ito naman ang exponent ni variable y, 2. So, second degree yan, which is called quadratic. Na? Ito naman pagka 2 or more variables. Okay, katulad dito, x, y. Ano? Alam natin na kapag walang variable, ay walang exponent, 1 ang exponent. So, ang gagawin natin dyan, we will just add the exponents of x and y. So, that is 1 plus 3, which is 4. Kaya, 4 degree siya, which is called quartic. So, ito naman, xyz. Remember, yung xyz, wala namang separator yan na plus or minus. So, ito, 3 terms yan. Ito ay 1 term lang. Okay, so pagka ganyan, monomial pa rin yan. 1 term yan. Okay? So, pagka ganito, you just add the exponents. So, third degree, which is called cubic. Pagka naman no variable yung ating polynomial, 0 degree yan, which is called constant. Diba? Pagka meron tayong 3x plus 2, yan, 3x plus 2, ito ay first degree, ito ay 0 degree. Pero ano yung degree ng polynomial na to? 3x plus 2, which is a binomial. Okay? Pag one term, alam na natin. Paano kapag ka more than 2 terms? Tulad dito. So, ano degree ng polynomial na to? Okay? So, for polynomial with 2 or more terms, polynomial with one variable, just like this, gagawin lang natin, alamin natin yung degree ng bawat term. Degree ni 5y, diba 1? Degree ni 3, diba 0? So, ano yung mas mataas? 1. So, first degree. Linear. Ganun lang yun. Ano degree dito? 2. Ano degree dito? 1. Ito, 0. Pinakamataas, 2. Kaya, second degree. Quadratic. So, ang hint lang doon, kuhanin mo lang kapag one variable lang siya, hanapin mo lang yung highest exponent ng variable. Tulad dito, 3, 2, 1. Ang highest niya, 3. So, third degree. So, ganun lang yan. Okay? So, pagka naman na 2 or more variables, katulad lang din ang ginagawa natin kanina, alamin mo yung degree ng bawat term. Degree dito is 2. Ito ay 1 plus 1, 2. Ito ay 2. So, pare-pareho naman siyang 2. Pwede. Second degree. Okay? So, ito naman, just in case magkakaiba yung degree nila, kuhanin mo lang yung highest degree ng term. Okay, high degree nito, 3. Ito, 2. Ito ay 1 and the highest 3, so third degree. Okay? Next, number 6. Ganun lang din. Degree nitong term na to, 5. Ito, 3. Ito, 4. Ito, 0. Highest degree is 5. So, this is a quintic polynomial. So, yun. Okay? I hope that is clear. So, yan. Kinds of polynomial according to its degree, according to the number of terms. So, the number of terms muna tayo mas madali. So, this is a monomial. And this is 0 degree or constant. So, ganun. Okay? So, this is a binomial. Okay. And its degree is linear. Bakit linear? Kasi, ito ay 1 first degree, 0 degree. So, first degree, linear. So, first degree or linear, pareho lang yun. So, this is a trinomial. 1, 2, 3 terms. Okay, so degree nito, may constant term ay 0. Ito ay 2, ito ay 1, so quadrant. Okay? So, ito naman ay monomial. Okay, so ang degree niyan is 2 plus 1, 3 cubic. So, ganun lang. So, pwede rin natin siya tawagin ito ay linear binomial. Ito naman ay quadratic trinomial. Ito naman ay cubic monomial. Ito ay, sa tingin nyo, trinomial siya. Okay, tapos 2, 2, 2, quadratic. So, this is what we call quadratic trinomial. So, ganun lang. Okay, so ito ay 6. 6 ang degree, 6 ang degree, so 6 degree. 6 degree trinomial. So, ganun siya. Unahin natin yung number of terms. Unahin natin yung, should say, degree. Linear binomial, quadratic trinomial, quadratic trinomial, 6 degree trinomial. So, ganun. Next. It's your turn. Try to answer. Check your answer. Okay. So, I hope na-discuss ko sa inyo ng mahusay. Kung meron mang akong pagkukulang sa discussion nito ay magtanong lamang po upang kayo ay maliwanagan. Okay? So, thank you for watching and listening.